That's blocking me a little bit. Hey everyone, this is Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. My goodness, did you guys have a fabulous Thanksgiving? I know I did. I had friends and family around, and it was good to be able to do a little traveling. Hope you guys like my new background. It's an interesting situation happening here, and also a QR code. I'm so excited that it's there. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So grateful that you guys are here and wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad that we're getting started. And all right, I'm moving around my, here we go, moving around my, I'm going to get ready to play the intro, but thank you guys so much. This is Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. And here we go. Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. I'm so glad you're here. Oh my gosh, we have a wonderful show for you on tonight. I'm Val The Voice Johnson, and so great to see and hear you guys happening in the chat. Mr. Springer is on vacation this week, so we have Mr. Daniel Nelson who's filling in for Mr. Springer. So excited that he is here. And yes, we have officially started. We have officially started, which is phenomenal, phenomenal. Our episode today is brought to you by Legal Shield. Text the word legal to 347-652-0243 if you need help with wills, trust, or securing your business. That's always important, always important. And please, I'll go ahead and ask Daniel to place that information in the chat. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Now, if you need help with your podcast and you'd like to come and check us out, we are on Patreon. Oh my goodness. We are on Patreon and so excited to be there. We're gathering some wonderful behind the scenes as well as some videos. And my goodness, if you're interested in starting your own platform or become a fan of Interludes, join us on Patreon. Go ahead and become a fan or member of our podcasting community today at patreon.com/interludes. Oh my goodness. And also become a sponsor and book time with me, Val The Voice, here. And I'll go ahead and ask Daniel to go ahead and place that in the chat. Oh my goodness. Let's see who is here. Let's see who is here. I like to always say hello to the audience, people that's in the listening lounge. We are actually today streaming through on Clubhouse with our Interludes club that's there. And I see Ursula and Danielle, aka Minnie Mouse, is listening to us there, which is wonderful. I also see we got African Royal. She says, good evening. Thank you so very much for being there. If you're here, give us a shout in the chat. Give us a shout in the chat. Oh my gosh. It's so good to see you guys. Oh my goodness. And anyway, oh, and I got to see who this is. It says Facebook user. I'll find out who you are. I'll find out who you are. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Well, you know what? I got a chance to get away and spend some time with family, and so grateful to see my aunt, my uncle. I like to call her my cousin and niece, and then my sister cousin, which is always fun. But my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Did you guys get a chance to watch the Grio Awards versus the Soul Train Awards? I mean, it's kind of that situation happening. Oh, I see TNG says, good evening. How are you? Great to see you. Oh, my goodness. And so I got a chance to watch, well, I watched the Soul Train Awards live, and I got a chance to watch the Grio Awards about, I did that earlier today on streaming. Now, I'm going to be comparing these two award shows. They made some major changes with the Soul Train Awards. And I don't necessarily know if this was the fun thing to do, but my goodness, you have hosting the Grio Awards, which was really cool. You had our person from the talk, Cheryl Underwood, and then Roy Wood Jr. From Comedy Central, hosting the Grio Awards. They did a great and fabulous job in hosting. They did, and then of course on the Soul Train Awards side, you had Kiki Palmer, who was cracking a lot of jokes. A lot of kikiing was happening during that time. You understand? Oh my goodness. Who opened the show was Janelle Monáe. She ended up getting a special award from the Soul Train Awards. Wasn't crazy about the song she opened with, but hey, it is what it is. But there were many wonderful performances on Grio, and I have to say the comparing the Grio Awards to the Soul Train Awards, the Grio presented by Brian Allen aired on CBS and Paramount on November 25th, and the Soul Train Awards ended up doing that, I think, a little bit later. I'm trying to get down to my further down on the page here. Here we go. Oh, there we are. And the Soul Train Awards, the new format, they filmed at a Los Angeles mansion in the backyard. I didn't really like that vibe. Now, the Grio Awards was shot in the theater. You had Jennifer Hudson singing to one of the Grio Award winners, and that was Mariah Carey. It was wonderful. And then, of course, the Grio Awards, like I said, was founded by Byron Allen in 2010, honored some remarkable individuals like Mariah Carey, Don Cheadle, actor Denzel Washington, among others. And then, of course, Coco Jones. I don't know if you guys remember her. We've reviewed the show that she's been on Peacock, and that is Bel Air. She has been the breakout star of that, and she's been recording her own music, which has been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And like I said, I got a chance to watch it, but I wasn't really crazy about how they made the changes with with Soul Train. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I believe I'm aging out of the Soul Train Awards age demographic. I was very happy with the Grio Awards. Very happy to see folks get honored. And this was Byron Allen's vision back in 2010. And since that time, he has, coordinated this and honor people who have done great things, philanthropic and in the civil rights arena for a long, long time. Did any of you guys, and I'll ask Daniel, put it in the chat, did anyone watch either the Soul Train Awards or the Grio Awards? We're just trying to figure that out. Like last year, who's saying this? Yeah, the Soul Train Awards last year was great. I really, really enjoyed it, but I don't know what happened. I'm telling you, this is absolutely horrible. But like I said, the Grio Awards was something fun, and I'm so grateful that we got a chance to do that. And then someone said, yes, I watched them both. Glad to hear that, but I had to end up watching them. And then TNG says he watched Grio. So I don't know, starting to age out of that situation. Oh my goodness. Well, now I want to talk about a film that's currently streaming on Netflix. It's called Rustin. Oh my goodness. I have to say, man, I didn't know that there was this gentleman who was a part of the civil rights movement. One of the people that was responsible for organizing the March on Washington 60 years ago in 1963. And the person you see right there is the lead actor that portrays Rustin is Now, I don't know if you guys remember him. He was also in George C. Scott, who also directs him in this film. They were also in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom together. And so I don't know. He's won an Emmy for one of the shows that comes on, not HBO Max, it's now Max. And so who's in the movie? Oh my goodness. Gus Harper Chris Rock. I mean, I'm sitting here going, Chris Rock was unrecognizable in this. And so that's Rustin on the left that you see, and then Colin who's playing him. And my goodness, my goodness. So as I was checking this film out, I think I understood why his story was not told. And it's a shame. Jeffrey Wright, I mean, just doing a great and phenomenal job. He had a couple of lines in there as well. And see, there's Chris Rock. I didn't recognize him in this role. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see Rustin, but it is getting some Oscar buzz already. And I think the number one reason why Rustin's part in the civil rights movement wasn't really told because he was gay. And so a lot of the conservative leaders that organized the civil rights movement pushed him out a couple of times, but he was responsible for making sure, and that's a picture of Bayard Rustin right there. He died in 1987 at age 75, and he was bold about his sexuality. He did not care. He told people about it. But the great thing is that he helped organize the 1963 civil rights movement. So if you're interested, and I had to skip certain parts, but other than that, it was about the story for me, the civil rights story. Rustin, Own Your Power. It is currently streaming on Netflix right now and in selected theaters. So I think Colin, mark my words, he is probably going to get a nomination. I don't know. I don't know if it's Oscar. I don't know if it's NAACP. I don't know. I feel like he's going to get nominated. Oh my goodness. Well, it's time to now get to our special guest. But before I do that, it's time. Let me see what we got going on. We got people saying that they watch both, and some people said they gotta watch it. I'm so grateful that you guys are doing this. Okay, I am being blocked by. I'm being blocked by what I have to see. But here we go, and we're bringing on Coach. Here we go.
Val The Voice.
Hey.
What's going on?
Oh, everything is everything. Good to see you, Coach.
I like that.
Great to
That's
see
old
you.
school. You see all young people that know everything. That's one of them old school sayings.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm always loving your entertainment section. I'm always on the back end. Let me tell you, you missed one piece. That
What
movie
piece is
Rustin
this?
was nice. I'm a big historian, political
Yeah,
science major. What you didn't mention was the character that he also played. He was very instrumental in starting up SNCC. And for those that don't know, that's the Southern
right,
Negro Leadership Conference in SNCC. And so they were opposite of the NAACP, and that the NAACP wanted a little more difference than before Martin tried to get to Washington to form that march on DC. And the NAACP, which I didn't know, Val, till I saw this movie, turned
right,
Martin Luther King down, or actually turned him down. And he went to Martin because he and Martin were very good friends. And when he
right.
told Martin, I need your help, and Martin said, we're not going to bring 1,000, 10,000. We're coming with 100,000 people. And all of a sudden, NAACP had to jump on and get off.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one thing when I was watching this film, and this was also produced by, and I meant to mention that, Michelle and Barack Obama out of their production company. And so I'm glad that his story is being told
I didn't
despite
know that.
despite his sexual preference. It doesn't matter. He was able to rally the young people and was able to literally tie some of the things that he did back in the 40s to what was happening in the 1960s. And so a lot of times they asked him to step away from things because he was very bold about his sexuality. But I think ultimately he was a pinnacle part of the 1963 March on Washington for happening. And so that's number one reason why anyone should definitely check this out. And like I said, I honestly believe it is going to come up in award season. Mark my words.
And I was just like you too. I laughed when I saw Chris Rock. I'm like, we got a great front.
I know. I was sitting there going, what is this? But we totally get that. Oh, and I see that Justin Allen says, I see Val The Voice and Coach are color coordinating tonight. I had no idea you were going to wear red, Coach.
I got the memo. Man.
You got the memo?
See, Justin don't understand. That's what happens when two good people think alike.
Yeah. So and another person is letting us know there. Y'all have on red tonight. We did not know. I had this.
If Val, you need to let her know. If you don't know me, I'm always gonna bring that cap out for style. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be in purple. I'm not wearing no black and gold. I'm not wearing no blue and white. I'm always on that crimson and cream. You know me.
Exactly. Well, do me a wonderful favor and let us know about our special guest tonight.
Val, I'm gonna tell you, I'm always coming with, it's like Michael Jackson and Prince, right? They always come with smash hits. And I'm always bringing these smash guests. We are, for those that are on air, especially the last few weeks has been really, really good on the show with the questions, our guests, the people that's been asking and been looking at what we've been talking about. And we've been focusing the last few weeks on what, Val? The NIL process on name, image, and likeness in terms of how it plays effect. We saw what's going on with Angel Reese, which is still in the news today. She still hasn't returned to LSU basketball. And I wanted to kind of bring on today someone who's in that quote unquote, that space that we, Val, you and I and our fans can talk to about things that's going on in that NIL. So we can kind of get a feel for their world and what's going on. This young lady hails from right here in Tennessee with me, Murfreesboro, just outside of Nashville, which is really cool. She's from a little bitty tiny school called Belmont University, and I'll get her to talk a little bit about that and why she went there. She has I'm going to hold that because I'm going to bring that in as a question. She is a volleyball player. She is also, boom, signed to me, Val, in the Rise NIL. So as Springer used to put on, and that I got Daniel tonight, my company is making leaps and bounds, doing some incredible things. I'm going to continue to bring you up on the speed on what we're doing. But I want to bring 6 foot tall. She's 6 foot tall, Val, and jumping out of the gym. Let's talk to none other than my guest, Miss Brooke Gilleland from Belmont University Volleyball.
Wonderful. We're going to take a look at her in action.
That's a good call by that big man right there. He never calls it. Okay. 5. We're going 5, and we're gonna double make it.
Man. Hey, Val, I don't know about you, Val. I'm sitting here like, I'm ducking every time, but I'm thinking like she about to hit me in the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brooke, what's going on, girl? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, let me tell you something. You have got some fans of mine. I want to send a couple of shout outs. You know, a couple of my guys on tonight, got a couple of brands on tonight. But, you know, I'm over at St. Cecilia High School. And today, Val, I'm sitting in practice and I told my girls about the show tonight. So they're watching, some of them. And I mentioned you, Brooke, on the show. And you've got some fans on my basketball team. Like, oh my God, I know exactly who that is. So you're doing some big things out there. How you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I
We can hear you now.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm excited.
that's good. I'm just glad you took time. Volleyball season, I'm assuming volleyball season over right now, right?
It is, yeah. There's some of the other teams are like Big Ten in the conference, but we made it to 5th. We were supposed to be 11th, but we were 5th. We made it.
That is awesome. Val, I don't know about you, Val. You know, I went to a couple of games to watch Brooke, and then I picked it up on my high school side. I got into volleyball pretty big this year, like halfway through the season. I'm literally took my telephone on the computer. I'm watching Wisconsin play. I'm watching Minnesota. I'm watching Indiana. I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching volleyball more and more, and it became exciting. So not only was I a fan, just so I can start learning exactly what they're doing, and it's exciting.
Yeah, and I'm hearing and seeing in the chat where like you have Benjamin Denton saying "Go Brooke," and then of course that was a good save that you did, of course, and then of course Bestie, your Bestie, I guess, is watching as well, and Jason Rice,
Rachel
amazing young
there you go,
lady,
Rachel. What's going on?
right? An amazing young lady, an excellent athlete. How long have you been playing volleyball, and what drew you to the sport?
I've been playing since 6th grade. I'm now a sophomore, so that's like 8-ish years. It's been a hot minute. I started out playing softball when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and then I honestly just have too much energy for softball. So after 10 years of that, I decided, you know what, like, let's try volleyball. So I did, and I just got way into it because it's so high energy. It's so fun. So it definitely drew me in pretty quick.
Oh, that's all. And Val, you and I, we're the older crowd. Val, you remember the movie White Man Can't Jump with Woody Harrelson?
Yes.
And hey, we've got none of that with Brooke, right? None of that. You know, she's like, if she's playing basketball for me, she's definitely jumping ball because she can simply get up. You know, Brooke, when you're looking at that, you know, and of course, I know the family. Did mom, anyone in the family was a volleyball player? How did you come to know that volleyball was going to be your sport? I know you mentioned that you played a few other ones, but what happened that volleyball became that main sport for you?
Well, when I was playing softball, I did it really, really competitively. And then I got to middle school and my mom was like, you know what, like, let's try another sport. Let's see if there's anything else out there, because you've been playing softball for a long time. So like, what if there's something else? And she was like, let's do volleyball. And I was like, no, I don't want to play volleyball. I love softball. And she was like, we're going to try it. And so we did. And my first year, obviously, I was not very good at it. So I was like, I don't like volleyball. Volleyball is no fun. I want to play softball. And then all of a sudden, I started realizing, you know, I started kind of getting the hang of it, learning how to play, making friends, realizing that's really high energy. And when I'd be out on the softball court or on the softball field, I'm like, you know, I wish I was hitting right now. I wish I was playing volleyball. And I just realized it really just drew me in when I started playing like competitively club around 6th grade as well.
Oh, that's all. Matter of fact, one of the young ladies that is on my basketball team played with you at Alliance, and she was like, "Coach, don't say my name tonight, please, please, please." But I'm about to just put her out there, and Stella Graciano, you know, here with me at St. Cecilia High School. She's a heck of a volleyball player in the district with us, and once again, you're making some tremendous people that are looking up. You have no idea of the young folks that are already looking at you and what you're doing. And Val, she and I were laughing and joking through this week, and Val was like, Coach Tony, I'm not on volleyball too tough. But we talk about a lot of sports, but volleyball is not one of those. You know, you got an opportunity during high school to have over 1,000 kills. Now, to get that into college, and I know you're working towards that, explain a little bit to our people that are watching, and to particular Val, so she understands what exactly is a kill and how important is that in the play of volleyball.
So a kill is essentially like if you just see, like, generally you see people in the front row, and they're the ones that are up, and as you would call it, spiking. A kill is basically when you spike and it scores. So that could be like your defender on the other side, like you do it and you wham, you know, and then they could shank it off somewhere. Just your hit, we call it like a kill, a hit. A kill is when your hit scores. And
so basically, the other team is not able to return the ball back over the net.
After the first hit, if they get a second touch on it, it doesn't necessarily count. But if you hit it and it hits the floor, or you hit it and they drop it, it shanks off somewhere, that's a kill. And you gotta score a lot of them if you want to win.
Val, do you think you can get a couple kills for it, Val?
Probably not, because my arm is not, as Clint just said, cannon for an arm. That's what he says about Brooke. She has a cannon for an arm.
Thank
Cannon.
you.
That is like, that reminds me of Jordan. She was talking about the kills. Like Jordan used to kill people on the court with his dunks and stuff. Then he got knocked out and started shooting jump shots, you know. But you have been playing volleyball, as you said, for quite some time.
Right.
And the high school was there. And all of a sudden, you started to get, you know, obviously some recognition. How did you, or why did you take Belmont over, say, a Power 5 school in University of Tennessee or Vanderbilt, or Alabama? Well, how did Belmont come to play?
Well, in high school was when I decided, like, that's when I had to make my decision. Do you want to play in college, or do you want to like just stop and get to work, go to college for, you know, strictly academics? And I decided, like, you know what, I'm so competitive with it. And I had been doing sports since I was so young. It's just kind of in my nature. And so I began going to lessons, and I have a recruiting coordinator at my club, and she was like talking to colleges and whatnot. When I got to my, like, there's like an official date where they're allowed to reach out. And the day that I was allowed, it's like 12 o'clock and I'm getting messages. And it was just like adrenaline. It's so exciting. And so eventually, I was talking to a bunch of different schools, but I really wanted to be close to home. One, I'm very, like, family oriented. Like, my family means a lot to me. I feel like being out of my comfort zone, like, I am out of my comfort zone, but I'm not 6 hours away. Like, if I just need to take a weekend, I can go home. I mean, I'm like less than an hour away. And Belmont, obviously, you know, D1 is the dream. So I was able to go D1 without it being like some massive school. And it's, as an athlete especially, it's really important that you are able to get playtime in college if it's something that you're passionate about. And when you go to these really big schools, you're playing people who are 6'2", 6'3". I am not. So it was a really good balance between being close to home and being Division I and being really competitive. I really liked the girls. I really liked the coaches. And I was like, you know what, it's just kind of like the dream. So my recruiting coordinator was like, sign her. And so they did.
What do you think about that, Val?
I mean, like, to be doing a sport since you were in 6th grade is phenomenal. And then to actually go to college and literally be recruited for that sport, that is phenomenal. And congratulations definitely to you, Brooke, as we hear and see in the comments. I think this is Madi. Brooke, the most passionate athlete I've ever met. How do you feel about that?
Thanks.
Brooke?
It's true. I mean, I really, really appreciate it. I absolutely take so much passion in my sports. I mean, it's been my life since I was a toddler. It's just been in my blood, you know. So I definitely take it really seriously. That right there.
Val, she's not joking either, Val, because, you know, her brother Wyatt, 6'7", plays basketball for me on the OU team, and Brooke is in Cincinnati with us in a tournament. We play, we finish up. She headbutts me on accident, almost knocks me out. You know, like, but the passion, she's sitting on the sideline with my basketball team, she's just enough into, and I'm not talking about her brother, but she's on my entire team about what they need to be doing. If the game is over, she's like, Coach Tony, I would bench such and such because he's not playing hard. I'm like, you need to be my assistant coach, because I like that, because I saw the passion not only for her sport, but you know how it is, Val, when you just become an athlete, you kind of migrate to multiple sports because you understand what it takes. She's got that it, and I absolutely love it. It's like contagious.
We see a question in the chat that's coming from Justin Allen. He says, congrats on the kill record, Brooke. What's your vertical jump?
Oh, that's a good question. Recently, when we tested it, my vertical, it's right around like between 28-ish, around there when I'm healthy and
Wow, that's Val. So let me explain that, Val. The average basketball player, good vertical, is about between 32 and 35.
Right.
And this is a young lady who's got right at 30-ish. And I can tell you that. And Brooke, you're a fan at my high school, and Stella was like, oh my God, she was 3 years in front of me in high school. She could jump out of the gym. It was like watching Michael Jordan dunk a basketball. So that is amazing. My question to you, to get that vertical, even in basketball and or football or whatever, what is your work ethic and what are you doing? Because they need to know. You said something a moment ago that I kind of caught on to, that I think that our listeners, and especially the young people that's listening tonight, need to understand. One, you talked about the time distance from home and family. Very important. Two, you talked about not necessarily having to go to a quote unquote Power 5 school and sit on a bench just to have the University of Tennessee or Vanderbilt or something on my back because you wanted to play and be on the floor. And then three, you talked about the work ethic. How do you tie all three of those together and still be successful at what you do?
It comes with a lot of, obviously, I mean, it's stressful because, you feel like you just like got to go, but it's so much fun because it's so rewarding. And like, since I've been working out, just like doing things since I was so young, it comes with injuries and it comes with soreness. And honestly, it's just important that you push through it, take care of your body, get yourself treated. But don't, like they say, rest heals, yeah, but you can work healthily. And I feel like that's something that's really important. Like, to train your vertical, you need to be doing squats, calf raises, pogo jumps. You need to be using your whole body, and your body breaks down because we practice for, we would do 2 a days, 6 hours a day, every other day. Like, it's crazy. And in the end, it is so rewarding because, like, as you see, we're working and lifting. And we made it to conference for the first time since like 2015 and like won our first game. So it comes with a lot of like accolades, and it's really rewarding. Like, you put in the work, you work with a group, you work with a team, you have to figure out together, and you're successful in the end.
So Val, how we talk about give people the flowers?
So you're going to give her flowers now? Roses, lilies, what you giving her?
Here's the funny, and I know you're about to ask a question. I'm going to give her flowers, which is going to lead into the question that you were going to ask. Her flowers is this, Val. Let's just go back for a while. Let's look at this girl's work ethic, what she's talking about, what she's been doing, and you pointed it out, Val, since 6th grade. Imagine if you and I was on this podcast since the 9th grade. We'll be ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It'd be amazing. But here's what's funny. 1,000 kills, as she explained, those are hits that are in concession that scores points in the high school, Val. Now, let's take this and really give Brooke her flowers. I got a couple roses. I got some daisies. I got some dandelions. What else you want, Brooke? I got it all.
No dandelions.
So she's got 295 kills just this year alone, Val, coming off of a freshman season with 221 kills. She's already at close to 600 kills, and she's only a sophomore. And this is the biggest accolade to the university in the volleyball program, I think, Brooke, since 2018 season. Is that right?
That's right.
So you come out of high school with 1,000 kills. Did you tell yourself I want to go to college and I want to try to accomplish 1,000 kills again, because obviously if me and Val at our high school in Chicago playing, we could set one goal. But once we got to college, that bar gets raised because the talent gets higher. How did you say, what are you doing to make sure that you're trying to get those 1,000 kills?
It is absolutely a long-term goal. I mean, you've got to train and train and train and learn. Like each year you have to grow significantly. And we call it like volleyball IQ. And that's just knowing, like, because I would consider myself a power hitter, which means I go up and I swing hard and it hits the ground or it hits their platforms or they dig it. I mean, that's the only options you got. And you have to, like, you have to train really, really hard. And you have to know it up, you know, like being able to confuse the competition is really important. And so that's like part of the volleyball IQ is like knowing when to hit it hard and when to take some off and where to put it, you know, put it where they're not. And that comes with training, and that comes with practice, and that comes with time. And I mean, it's definitely a long-term goal, because you're not going to get 1,000 kills in a season. You know, that's insane. Right. But little bits at a time and just learning a little bit at a time is how you get to the end, you know.
So really quickly, we have a question. We have two questions from the audience, but I'm going to go with Bianca's.
Yeah, go
when
Bianca.
You're not in season, if you're not in season, what is it that you do to keep yourself grounded on making sure next year is a bigger and better year? Good question.
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I do and what we do as a team is we practice pretty close to year round. I mean, we practice in the spring, we practice in the fall, and over the summer, it's up to us. And so obviously, like coming into college, I have a lot of connections and like I have a lot of people willing to help me. I have my club. So what I do and what most of athletes should be doing is we go into our clubs or our schools and we practice volleyball there, and then you stay in the gym. I got yeah, I stay at a gym called Olympus, which I absolutely love. And it's a good way to like stay fit if you're not doing volleyball, you know, staying strong, keeping your body healthy. Rest is important, eating healthy, getting good sleep, drinking enough water, taking care of your body while you have that break. Because when you start going, like it is gone. Like you've got so much to do, and it's a long, long process. So taking care
How long is the volleyball season for on average? How long is it? I'm just curious.
Like the game season, or how long we train?
The game season. Yeah.
It's fall sport.
So fall sport, Val. So they're ending right now, Val, as basketball season is starting. So I would say give or take 8 to 10 weeks of beginning. So they start right at school, and by the time fall semester is over, your two longest sports, well, your longest sport is basketball, which goes over 2 semesters, which is basically fall and winter for basketball. Now, Brooke, let me tell you how good this show is, what Val and I do. First of all, you're on one of the biggest up-and-coming podcast shows across the country. You are live across the U.S. You're not only live across the U.S., our guy, Kevin Springer, who is usually in the background tonight, but Daniel got our back. Daniel has Val and our back. He is in Madrid, Spain right now, listening to you. He just said, great show, guys. Listening to you guys from Madrid. Hello, Brooke. How amazing is that?
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. And I'm telling you, this is phenomenal. And like I said, with an athlete of your caliber, just starting out, seriously, this is your sophomore year going into your junior year. And I'm now understanding what kills mean, because I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, that sounds very serious.
I know, right?
But here's a question from Jason Rice. What are your plans for after college? If you haven't thought about that.
I do. So right now my major is exercise science. I am planning on going to the PA route. So if I want to stay in volleyball, I'm going to have to go to sand, because there's not, I mean, unless you go overseas, there's really not professional volleyball like there is baseball and basketball and football. Right. So I've got to transition to probably sand volleyball if I want to stay involved with the sport. But my like career plans, evidently I'm really hoping NIL will work out, and I can work my way up the ladder there, because that's really, really exciting. It's a great opportunity to just kind of spread brands around and, get your name out there. And then I want to I want to be a physician's assistant, PA. It's my route right now.
That is all
Wow.
about. Now let's go back to pick up on a couple of things. That was actually a great question, Jason, because I was going to get to that as well. So that's a good segue. And Brooke just mentioned it. So, you're looking at a couple of things. Val, this segment, and by the way, real quick, you guys are listening to Interludes Talk on Tuesday with none other than Val The Voice Johnson and myself, and none other than Coach Tony. Please subscribe to the show, like us, and we've got the guest on tonight, Brooke Gilleland from Belmont University, volleyball superstar. So the thing in Val is Brooke mentioned, and she said a couple of things in her answer there, and one big thing is the NIL. Brooke, it's great for you to come on today, because Val and I have been focused on this NIL stuff over the last few weeks. We've had a lot of great shows. We had a big debate last week. You've heard what's going on with Angel Reese and everything is at LSU and all that. And Val, and for those that are listening, Brooke is signed to my agency, The Rise NIL. Again, they just go to show you the work that I'm doing behind the scenes, away from Interludes Talk on Tuesday. And having that opportunity to work with me in the brand and working with the brands itself, what does that mean to you as a college athlete to know that you're now getting an opportunity? Because Val, let me tell you some good news. She just inked a deal with Anatomy Leisure Wear. And for those of you who don't know who Anatomy is, Anatomy Leisure Wear, founded by Kate and Sean Boyer, is a leisure wear product in the same category with Lululemon. And this young lady right here, Brooke, is going to close the gap on the Lululemon. Hey, for promotional purposes only, Val, I'm going to bet on her. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So
Wonderful.
tell us a little bit about that, Brooke, and how you feel about having that NIL opportunity right now with those guys, and what you want to hopefully come about doing.
Well, to start, I'm very excited. It is something, I haven't done much NIL before, so it's like a phenomenal opportunity. First, I want to thank Kate and Sean Boyer for the opportunity, because it really is incredible. I think one really important thing is the fact that I'm able to influence like the younger generation. As you know, we have kids after games coming and they're asking for autographs and they're wanting pictures, and they're, they really look up to us. And so kind of being able to be a part of that brand and growing with them is a phenomenal way to get my name out there, Belmont's name out there, Anatomy's name out there. Growing with them, it's super exciting, and I know that it can influence a lot of people.
Val, you better sign her right now. I'm just saying, she knows Val right now. You'll lose.
Oh my goodness. As we start to wrap up here, I know you mentioned about encouraging young people to do volleyball, but for women's sports, I feel like it's imperative that women mentor other women. And I don't know if you've been doing that with either your former high school or grammar school, but in the mentoring space in sports, what have you done to help other young women like yourself discover their talent in volleyball or beyond?
Well, that is a great question, because we do a lot over when we first move in. So we move in really early. We move in about a month and a half earlier than the rest of the students, just to run camps, like strictly for camps for children ages like 4 to 8-ish, 4 to 9.
Yeah.
We move on. It's like a 3 or 4 week thing. And we go on and we go to like a high school, and then we go to like just kind of like a group, like special, like talented type people who are looking to go to the college. And we have our recruits come in. So we do like ages 4 all the way up to 18. I mean, it's a big range.
Yeah, because mentoring is just very important, especially in the sports space. Of course, Coach Tony knows emphatically about that because I've seen him in action with
Yeah,
the men's
you
basketball
know,
he's done. Yeah.
it's incredible, Val. The other thing is that, the difficult part, Val, is that when we look at TV and we're watching these basketball games and these football games, Brooke's in a tough situation, Val. You know why?
Why?
Because at any major university, football and basketball are what they call or they consider revenue generating sports. And anything outside of that is not. So when you have a young lady like Brooke, who is very talented, playing volleyball or a softball player, right, or a golfer or track and field, these young women have got to go out and hopefully get the opportunity that Kate and Sean is giving Brooke with anatomy to be in a position to help a brand get to the next level. Like they're trying to help make sure that Brooke gets to the next level. And when you're looking at that, Brooke, specifically on that, as we have several brands watching tonight, what is it about you as a person, as an athlete, that if a brand would say, why, Brooke, do we want to invest in opportunity or look at you to support our brand? What would you tell them?
I would say to begin, it's a lot of the work ethic that I'm willing to put in. I mean, as we know, I've been doing it for so long and it's become really important to me. I kind of feel incomplete if I don't have like something to work towards, and having like at least a platform with many people my age. I've got a lot from high school and from college, and then but also like the younger kids, I mean family members, older, like massive range of people. It's really important that I'm able to like work to influence the people and assist, like help these brands and myself and just everybody growing outward. It's like I would say I'm really willing to work hard for it because, as I said, I mean I'm always looking for something new to work towards. I've got a long-term goal at all times. So
That's good. That's good. What do you think about that, Val?
I think that's excellent. And you have a major that sounds like you're passionate about it as well. And of course, like I said, mentoring in the space of athletes and beyond is just important. So I'm grateful that you are actively already doing that. And so kudos to you, Brooke. Really appreciate you. Really.
And I got what you said, Val, and Alejandra.
Yeah, he'll be back. He's coming back.
La Familia. That means love, family. Brooke, thank you so much for your time. And I know as a student athlete, and by the way, my basketball guys, other guys, if you didn't hear her tell you, 3 to 4 hours on academics, 4 to 5 hours on practice, this young lady is dealing 9 to 10 hours a day in her everyday movement in between classes and volleyball. She doesn't have time to do a job. And this is why I thank Sean and Kate for an anatomy opportunity. And there are going to be more brands to come. You just sit back because I'm going to bring them to you, girl.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, Brooke, thank you so much for joining us on tonight and giving us a little bit more education on NIL and then, of course, your role. And like I said, we wish you all the best of luck as you go to your junior year and then start the third year of being a wonderful volleyball player for
I wish it was playing basketball, Bell. I have a plan for me.
She's got the height. She's got the height.
She definitely got it. But and the cool part about it is, Brooke, the show is growing and growing and growing. And, we definitely always have our guests back. We just had Malika Chinyeri, a tennis star like yourself, very young, doing some big things. Got a couple of brands. She's also part of the Rise family, so you'll get an opportunity to meet her as well. But we definitely want to make sure that you come back on the show down the road, because if you get those 1,000 kills, Val and I want to make sure you definitely tell us about it on this show right here, Interludes Talk on Tuesday.
For sure.
Oh my goodness. Brooke, thank you so much for joining us on tonight. Wishing you the best of luck. Oh my gosh, Brooke, thank you.
Thank you. Man, Val, Hey,
Wow, she is phenomenal, and she's mentoring. This is wonderful,
I mean,
which is
you just asked a
phenomenal.
major question about the kids. Like Marty Marr
Yes.
say, Marty Marr love the kids. So, but the kids,
That's right.
man, and she's doing that. And here's the thing about it, Val. She's doing it
Mhm.
without being forced. You know how hard it is to
Exactly.
get these young athletes to even get up in the morning and freaking work out and do something.
I know.
She's doing
Yeah,
it on her own. It's awesome.
right. And what's been fascinating to hear about is how long she's been in the volleyball space, since 6th grade. And so she's had a great support system to help
Yes.
her continue in this, and then to continue. And her height came. I don't think she was a 6 feet in 6th grade, but her height came. And like I said, some of the folks in the chat was just really giving some wonderful compliments to her. VB girl says Brooke is the highest jumper I've ever seen. That's
I mean,
phenomenal.
this
That is
young lady,
phenomenal.
again,
Mhm.
Val, she just got selected to the all tournament team of the Missouri Valley. So as a
Woo!
sophomore, right? And she's already over 600 kills, and she's only 400 kills away in college to join the 1,000 club, meaning that this young lady has an opportunity to hang a banner in a
Wow.
university gymnasium so that 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years down the road, when she comes back, she can point to the ceiling and there's her name and her banner, and she can tell that story.
Which is phenomenal. And like I said, being a mentor for other young people in the space of volleyball, or just in general, as student athletes do, I'm grateful that she's working with the brand that you've introduced her to through Rise. And like I said, there are many more to come, and we're wishing her the best of luck. My goodness, I don't know if we could squeeze this in regarding talking about what's going on in the NBA space. I know that
Oh,
you've been
we
asking folks to
gotta squeeze in.
talk about
Guys,
that.
matter of fact, Val, yeah, I was glad we jumped to squeeze this in real quick, and I'm gonna boomerang real quick. Those that don't know, again, that we've got, and Daniel's going to put it up. We're closing this out by next Tuesday. I'm letting you guys know
Okay.
by
All
next
right.
Tuesday. If you don't have the East Coast Conference Final and the West Coast Conference Final teams that will meet in the NBA championship game with an NBA winner, then you're not part of this $100 gift card. So
Mhm.
Val, it is crazy. I don't know if I told you or not, because we've been going strong in the last few weeks, but the NBA created their own sort of NCAA in-season tournament. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I did not
Yeah.
know. I heard
So,
about it, but I didn't know. Yeah.
so what they did is they took all four conferences, right? In the
Mhm.
East Coast and the West Coast, there's four conferences. And they played the tournament as though they were in the NCAA. You
Okay.
win, you
Wonderful.
advance, you lose, and now they're down. Here's the cool part about it: the championship game is next Saturday. Do you know
Wow.
what the winning team gets?
$100,000.
Try $500,000.
Okay, I was off, but that's
So,
great.
so how would you like if me and you was able to compete against some other podcasts for 500 stacks, baby?
I would love that, and it would be phenomenal to do so. Woohoo! Woohoo!
Phenomenal. I mean, we know you know why I really like this though, Val?
Mhm.
Because I don't know if you've been keeping up with the quote unquote AllStar game, but the
Right.
AllStar game over the last few years suck. If I gotta say
Oh,
anything else.
no, the All-Star Game. But see, here's the thing. What made them phenomenal back in the day versus what's happening right now with the All-Star? There's still a slam dunk. There's still some of the contests that happen. What's making the current one so dull? I don't understand that.
I'll tell you, and I'm so glad you said that. And this goes back to my point to these young cats that I'm always freaking arguing with all the time, Val. And that is, back in the day was always best. It's like back in the
Right,
day hip hop. Back in the day, 90s hip hop was better than today's music. I'm sorry, I love it. I
right.
don't care what you say. Meet me at the turntable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can drop some tracks on you. But back in the day, we had a good structure. You had the NBA, and then you played to an all-star. The
Right.
fans voted the all-star team as you approached the all-star game. The best dunkers in the game at that time entered the dunk contest, and the best shooters were three-point shooters. Well, after a while, they didn't think that was quote unquote good enough. So what they started to do is say, Val, I'll tell you what you can do. You and Tony, Val, you're the best player in the East. Tony, you're the best player in the West. So we're going to let you choose your team, and you can play with whoever you want to play with. Well, here's a problem to that, Val.
Oh, no, there's a problem.
How many times are you going to choose somebody that's not the same as a different team you chose last year?
Oh, okay.
See, you get it? Because if I won this year, why the hell am I going to change my team?
Exactly.
Right? You go to the park in the hood. You step up on 111th at Morgan Park or 79th Street at Cole Park, and we walk out to play some basketball. If I win, I'm not going to get rid of anybody on my team. It's whoever the losing team got to knock us off, right?
Exactly.
So it became to the point where the rookies were being overlooked, Val. Guys that were making pretty good names were being overlooked. And so this year, they're going back to the old formula. And that is the fans will vote in the team. You have a normal dunk contest, and you have a normal three-point shooting contest. The cool part about it is this in-season tournament, it's going to pay these guys $500,000. So each player is set to make about $35,000 to $50,000 per player. And now these guys are playing. Why, Val? Because there's money on the line. The AllStar Game ain't no money on the line. You know, not real money. So now it is. So I love it. I absolutely love it.
So it'll be good to see what happens with that. And you said that game for that was going to be next week.
Well, it's going on this week, but the championship game will be December the 7th. And the two teams that play December the 7th, whoever wins next Saturday will win the $500,000 to that franchise.
Oh, that sounds phenomenal. And like I said, we're going to let you guys know. I think next week is going to be your last week to get in on winning $100 gift card regarding who is going to win in the East and the West and meeting up in the NBA Finals. We're keeping our eyes on that right now.
Tell them, Val, get in where you fit in.
Fit in, exactly. Oh my gosh, this has been a phenomenal show, I have to say. I mean, like, I didn't realize. I'm grateful that we did like a part 2 with an actual student athlete regarding NIL. I'm grateful that we were able to kind of chit chat about the new film on Netflix, Rustin, as well as talking about the Grio versus the Soul Train Awards. It's kind of like apples to oranges, but yeah, we are excited, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to raise up out of here. And we want to thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week.
And you gotta be here. If you ain't with us, don't ask where we were, because you better jump on Interludes, on Interludes Talk on Tuesday, because one, Val, let them know you got the Pull Up podcast coming very soon, early January. Right. So stay tuned so you can understand and continue to get some more of these wonderful guests that we've got. Also, if I've got anyone listening tonight that's got a young athlete that needs to understand a little bit more about how the NIL and sponsorship space, log on to my website at www.rizenil.com and get in touch with me, and Coach Tony will call you back. I appreciate you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And if you guys want to get started on getting and learning about how to do a podcast, join us on Patreon. And that's patreon.com/interludes, and become a member of our podcasting community right on over there today. And of course, our audio podcast. We are celebrating 3 years. We have a new podcast, audio podcast coming out tomorrow. And of course, today's episode is sponsored by Legal Shield. Text the word legal to 347-652-0243 for more information about wills, trusts, and whatever else that you might need in that space of that. Myself and Coach Tony, we thank you guys for being here. And we want to thank also our special guest, Brooke, for being here as well. And my goodness, we are out of here. Peace. Woo, 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 woo.